The most important thing today in my demonstration will be on the gradient and having a gradient with transparency. So that's primarily what I'm going to cover today. But you can see what's on Angel for this week. If we go down to April 18th, you see, remember we looked at all these things from last class. Okay, and there's a video of me making a poster. I'm going to kind of follow what's in this video with you today. So it'll be a little bit different, but somewhat what's in this. And it's going to be kind of a poster for a nature kind of thing. So again, try and make it a little bit bigger than 8.5 by 11. And again, I was using by 14 by 11. I'm going to actually do it this way. Okay, because it's going to be a poster like this. So again, the three things that we've been covering in the past 3 weeks, of course, one was wired subscription card, right? And then we did a ad for Amazon, and then a poster here. So you should be drawing something a week. I mean, geez, in this class you're supposed to put in at least 4 hours a week. If you're not doing 4 hours a week, then you're not up to speed. So I know I like to go fishing on the weekends too. But you should, and if you don't have Illustrator, there's Illustrator in the tutorial center. You go in there. They got computers that look just like this. Plus, there's a tutor over there. Go see Grace. She needs people to come and see her. She gets paid by how many people come. So I encourage you to go. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay, so if you have time, go see Grace, and she can help you. Okay, let's get started. Again, I'm going to make a poster. This is going to be kind of a nature kind of example. Trees. We started doing texture last time. I'm going to do another texture again. This will be a tree bark texture. And so we're going to use the Blob tool for the part of a tree, the leafy part of the tree. That's what I'm trying to say, the leafy part of the tree. So here we go. Actually, I probably won't use. So I'm going to use mostly brush. So I'm not even going to use the texture anymore. You understand how to make a texture. Maybe, we'll see. So I'm going to make some stems using the brush tool. These are going to be stems of a tree. Stems of a tree. Stems of a tree. They're going to kind of go back in space a little bit. As they go back, they're going to get a little skinnier. Things that are further away tend to be smaller, and things that are closer are bigger. Natural perspective there. The tool that I'm going to use to make the leafy parts of the tree is this one right here. It's called the Blob brush tool. So there are two brushes. Of course, I was using the normal paint tool to kind of draw the trunks of the tree. We call that, I guess, the trunk of the tree. To do the top part of the tree, I'm going to use this one called the Blob brush tool. What is the difference? Well, kind of the Blob brush tool works by putting it together into a solid shape. And let me show you what I mean by that. Is if I start drawing and see how I'm kind of building it up, and I'm going to make a bigger brush. See how I'm kind of building up over, I'm going over and over and over again. What it does is when you release the mouse, it takes it and makes it, and if you select it with a selection, let me zoom in. When you select it with a selection tool, you'll see it kind of combined it, all the brush things that I was doing into one shape. So it's a way that you can kind of make a shape using the brush. And the other difference between the brush tool and the Blob brush tool and the normal brush tool is the Blob brush tool uses the fill color, and the normal brush uses the stroke color. Okay, so let me do that again. So if I use the normal brush, the paintbrush tool, and I start drawing like this, notice it's using the black here. This is the stroke color. See the stroke color right here? It used that for that. But if I am going and using this one that's called the Blob brush tool, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Is this how I can change the size? Yeah. You can change the size here. And you can actually use different texture too, I think, too. No, that didn't work. But still, if I give it a little blob like this, it'll again make it again one object, and notice how it uses the fill color. So I'm going to change the fill color to my green, which is going to be the green for my canopy. And this is not going to work here. I'm going to have to make a bigger brush. How do I make a bigger brush? Let me make a bigger brush. Here we go. Double click on it, and we can change the size. Is that going to work? Oops. There we go. I need a nice big size. That's a little bit too big. 57. So again, you can click on it on a blob here and get you a bigger brush, and this is a better size. So again, my canopy is going to be kind of here, and so it kind of looks like a broccoli, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to make some broccoli trees here. Broccoli tree, again using the blob brush tool. Whoosh. And then, oh look, it's using the stroke color. Maybe I lied. Maybe I lied. No, it's using the fill color. I don't know why. See how it just jumped to fill though? Did you see that? I don't know. Okay, here we go. So, and then, okay, you get the idea. Okay, so I got some trees. We should give it some data. So let's talk about this option right here. This is draw behind. Draw behind. And so I want to add some bark or some text, some color to the trees, because right now they're kind of solid. But I want to add some brown, we'll say. And when I draw, I don't want it to draw over top of the black line. I want it to try and draw under the black line, right? So there's an option called draw behind. It's this one right here, all the way down here in this kind of way down here in the bottom. It's this one right here called draw behind. And I'm going to choose a nice brown color here. I'm going to get a brown color going here. Kind of ugly brown. A brown color. And again, it's right here. It's called draw behind. So when I draw with the blob tool here, it's going to be, and I release my mouse, it should be under the black line. Let me get a little closer so you can see it. So again, I want to draw the black or brown for the bark or the tree, and I want it to be under the black line. So again, I'm using this option right here. It says draw behind. And so when I draw here, it looks like I'm drawing over top of the line, but when I release the mouse, you'll notice it's underneath it. You see that? Yeah. So it's called the draw behind option, and you'll see how it works there.
If it goes outside of the blob lines, we can erase that, or?
No, not really. I mean, you can use the eraser tool here and erase. Yes, there is an eraser tool, but it erased my line too. Be careful of that one. I don't think there's a erase behind here, is there? But there is an eraser tool right here. We really don't work with the eraser tool too much. I'll cover the scissor and knife tool if you want today too. So there is an eraser tool. I'm mostly using this tool again. It's called the Blob brush tool, and I'm drawing behind so my lines stay there. Remember, the colors of the should be nice and simple colors. Remember, we're doing a WPA kind of poster, so we want to do kind of more solid kind of things. Even though my last thing will be kind of a gradient. So there's some trees. Quick, easy way to make broccoli trees.
Is there some way to put some shadow on the trees? On the broccoli part?
On the broccoli part? Sure. Probably the easiest way to do it is I would suck up the color, double click the color, make it a little darker, and then draw with the blob tool on top though, remember, on top, and then just maybe do a blob around. Kind of like what we did with the mountains. Maybe we'll have a little. So yeah, and probably even adds a shadow or something to this. What else was I gonna do? Oh, we're gonna do a little stream in here. Again, I'm gonna go back to the pencil tool, and again, if you haven't tried the pencil tool before, you have options for the pencil. If you double click on it, you can fill the pencil stroke, so it fills it in with a color when you're done. You can turn off the keep selected if you don't want that. And the other thing is there's an accuracy and smooth option. Again, this is the pencil tool because if you remember when we drew the river in the landscape that we made, remember the river in the landscape? I kind of just used the pencil tool, and I'm gonna have like a little thing of kind of. That's not very good, is it? I didn't want it to be over my trees. What am I doing? I'm making a mistake. Why didn't it fill? Fill new pencil stroke. Did I not fill? Oh, maybe because I have a no here. Let me put, again, I'm on a pond, making a pond here. There we go. There we go. My pond. Okay, so, and then let's put some grass in there. I'm going to make some grass for my trees to grow. And let's put some grass in there and send that to the back. And then let's put a sky in there. It's going to be kind of a nighttime scene. There we go. Kind of a nighttime scene. Maybe add some little bit of hills in the background there. And something like that. Send it to back. Okay. Too far back. No, didn't want that. Okay, that's better. Again, that's one way you see me drawing objects and then moving them using the object arrange and stuff like that. Another way to move things is an easy way to do it would be to use the layers window. If you never really worked in the, excuse me, the layers window. In the layers window, everything is on top of each other. You can drag things around in here. So, if you wanted the green to be on top of this, you could drag it in the layers window. See how it moved it around? So you can move things around in the layers window. Up and down. That way, things are over top of each other. I'm going to start with a new layer. This is kind of my base that I have right here for my scene. So again, my poster is going to be a nighttime scene, and it's going to have a moon, and the moon is going to be glowing down onto the pond. Okay, so there's going to be kind of a moon glow, and we're going to call it moonshine. And of course, this is a poster, so we'll have some text probably in here somewhere or something like that. We have to put some text in here, and well, maybe it's an event. Moonshine, come and drink some moonshine. West Virginia. Been in West Virginia many times. They got moonshine there. Yeah, they had it. Okay, so I'm going to make a moon. Let's just cheat. We'll make the simple moon. How do we make a simple moon? Well, we can use the ellipse tool, and we can draw the moon. But we don't want it to kind of be like that. We want it to be kind of a crescent moon. So there is a tool that you can use to cut an object, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Another new tool today, and that is the where is it? It's under the cutting. Where's the cutting options? No, where's the cutting options? Eraser. The knife tool. Okay, so you got scissor tool, knife tool. Scissor tool is great if you want a straight line. So if you want to make a straight cut, if I wanted this to be cut in half, I could click on one edge and then click on the other edge and it cut it. And I can pull it apart. Nice straight line. Okay? Again, that was the scissors. This one. How it works is you click on the edge of the object. Okay, so again, how I used it. Let me undo. The scissor tool works by clicking the edge and then click on another edge and it'll cut a line from one dot to the other wherever you click. The other option is this one called the knife tool. The knife tool is similar to using the scissor tool, but it doesn't have to be straight. You can do it in whatever you can draw. So again, I wanted this to be a half of a moon or oval kind of thing. So you can start outside. You don't have to start on the edge either with this tool. And I can just kind of, if I wanted kind of a moon, I could kind of give it one of these, like that, release my mouse, and then go and grab one side and delete it. Okay, so the knife tool is a little bit different in that, and you can use it to draw a line over an object to cut it. So that's a pretty good tool to use. I'm going to curve this a little bit and make it a little smaller. There we go. Here's I guess the moon, would it ever look like that? I guess it looks like that sometimes, doesn't it? I guess it does. Okay. So we want a glow of the sunrise, the sunbeam, or the moonbeams to come down onto the pond. Okay? This is where I'm going to do what we call a gradient with transparency. So here we go. I'm going to use the pen tool and I'm going to make a shape. Kind of a shape. There we go. So I'm going to make a shape and I'm going to add a transparency to it. Again, the normal transparency is, or not transparency, I meant a gradient to it. So what we want is we want the moon to kind of be glowing. So we're going to have a transparency or a gradient on here that goes from solid to, well, not quite solid, but kind of solid to almost transparent at the bottom. And how we're going to do it, of course, is to give it a gradient. And that doesn't look beautiful yet. But what we can do is go into the gradient tool options. In the gradient options, if we can find it, here it is. And we can give it a color on one side. And I'm going to use yellow. Somehow I need to make this yellow. There we go. And then this one I'm going to make yellow, the same yellow. Same yellow. Okay, but in this one over here, I'm going to change the opacity down to almost 0. And then this one is, no, that doesn't look too bad like that. And then I'm going to use the gradient tool so that it goes this way. Oh, wrong way. We're going to go this way. There we go. And then of course let's move it behind the moon here. Let me bring the moon in front. So, oh, and of course we don't want a stroke on that. No stroke. There we go. So you can give kind of this glowing effect like this by using a transparency, again, on the gradient. So if you go, here's the gradient pop-up window here. Let me make my moon a little bit bigger here. Oops, move it just a little bit. There we go, that looks a little better. And no stroke. Well, I guess the stroke helps it give it its shape. So again, in the gradient options, when you select the color, there's an opacity right here. That opacity can be used, again, I have one side being transparent basically and the other side being solid, And you can get these nice kind of glowy effects by doing that.
White edges. Can be smooth edges.
Oh no. You could give this a blur,
Okay.
right? Remember we did a lot of blurs with the fruit. Remember blurring with the fruit? You could actually blur this and the edge would then be blurry. So that might be a good idea. Let's try it. So to give it even smoother, maybe, yeah, give it the blur. Uh-oh. That's going to crash for sure. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
A little bit too much blur there, but oh, okay. What do you think? A little blur? Okay, so now we need our text. Remember, this is a poster for something. I don't know. I don't like the blur too much. It's maybe undo that blur. There we go. Maybe just a slight blur. If the blur is not working for you, you do have feather. Okay, which might be better. That's under. Remember, did you know feather inside of Photoshop, right? Feather. You also have feather here, right? In Photoshop, feather does what? It makes the edges smooth and soft, right? So you might use feather instead, and that might, because the problem with the blur is it tends to give you crazy lines and stuff. Now this is kind of giving me lines too. See how the lines are kind of coming in here? I don't know how to get rid of that. Yeah. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to go there now. You guys can work on that. I just wanted to give you a heads up of how to do a nice glow using transparency on a gradient. So let's put our text in. Again, I'm going to think about the time frame. Again, this is a WPA kind of thing. So you might want to go and download some fonts from dafont.com. You know. So I might save this. I'm going to save this. Moonshine. And I'm going to quit Illustrator because when you install fonts, you shouldn't have the program open because it won't install on there. And then let's go to dafont.com and let's type in moonshine and see what kind of font comes up. There's one. Is there one? One font? Ooh, no, that doesn't look good. That's not what I want. Is there a WPA font? No. Okay. Stencil kind of one. Army look. There was a lot of this kind of look back in those days too, so that might be one way.
What about like typewriter?
This kind of look is nice. This is kind of an older look, huh? Typewriter? Let me download this one while I'm here. See if there's anything else. Typewriter? Type? Writer? They got one that looks more digital.
I
No.
think in their menu they had a typewriter category.
Oh no, typewriter. There we go. Right above that. Thank you. Well, there we go. Ooh, this is kind of nice. This might be good with moonshine. It looks kind of like somebody's having moonshine right there. This is quite nice too. Old newspaper. Interesting. Here's a nice kind of typewriter font there too. It kind of has an old look to it. Okay, that's enough. But you get the idea. There's all kinds of fonts you can download. Uh-oh, we still got Camtasia running. That's fine, but we still got app design going here. Whoosh. Make you listen to my 1980s music if you're stuck here too long. Okay, so again, when you download on these computers, it goes to the download folder. To install your font, you double click on it to uninstall it, to double click on it to install. If it's a TTF, it stands for True Type Font. We can double click on that and install that. There we go. And then what else did I download? Linotype. Where did that go? That's a TTF. Okay, so there's that one. Oops, where's it? What was I going to? Downloads, fine. Happened. Oh. Through the night. And there was stencil. Yeah, I think that was it. Okay, again, so you know how to install fonts. Oh, some of them might have problems or viruses. Hopefully not. Then you can get back to your project. Again, try and install the fonts. See, updating font menu. Did you see that? So, install fonts when the program's not running. That's a common mistake. And then, of course, we're going to call this Moonshine. I'm going to put it kind of down here. I'm going to click on here. Moonshine. Is Moonshine one word or two? Where's the new one I just downloaded? There's somewhere in here. There's got to be one. Can I install some new fonts? Do you remember what they were called? Jeez, I don't remember what I installed. Oh, here's the typewriter one. So since we have some glowing glow, we can give our type some glow too down here. Make it a little bit bigger. So what are some of the things I can do to my shine? Is H-H-I-N-E? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's one word. It might look. Yeah, it looks better one word.
The drink is
Okay, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna go with one word for right now. It just looks better to me visually. So if you want, you can add some things to your text by using the attributes or the appearance window. I'm sorry, the appearance window. Under the appearance window, if I can find it, you have all kinds of things that you can do to your text. Again, you can add strokes if you want. You can add a fill if you want. If you want a stroke, we can add a stroke and give that a color. And you can change the size of the stroke if you want. And we can change the color of the font. There we go. And then if you want to really make it stand out, we can give it a glow on the outside. Under the appearance window, you have a little FX window right here, FX. In the FX, you have all these effects that are under here, the same ones there, but you're applying them right here. And under stylize, you have an outer glow. And we can change the color of the outer glow to the yellow, and then use a normal mode, and we can preview what that's going to look like. And so it can have a little glow too. Again, there's options under here. This is the blending mode, and I just went from normal to give it a normal, and then I changed the color, and then of course there's an opacity slider here too, where you can turn it up and down, and then there's even a blur. So it does have a kind of a glow. Since I have my moonshine going, you can see the glow on the outside now. And then so let's make this a play. So this Moonshine is the name of a play, and so let's make it in a theater. Need to make a theater. Theater. What's the name of our theater? our theater. Theater? There we go. Our theater. And then let's give it a date. May 1st, 1932. There we go. What do you think? Okay, so some of the tools you should be practicing or thinking about. Let's cover them. Let's review. Again, I did a brushes to do the kind of tree lines. Then I used the Blob brush tool to do the colors up here on the. Again, this does a kind of a solid look to it. The Blob brush tool. Then we also painted behind objects using the draw behind option. The draw behind option. Then I made a circle for the moon, and I cut it using the. I made a circle for the moon, and I cut it using the knife tool. Now you could use eraser, but that's too hard. That's like too much work. Too much work. I would rather use like the knife tool, and then of course you can give it one of those, and then it splits these into two objects. Grab one and remove it. That kind of a nicer moon there. That's a nicer moon I made that time. And then we did the gradient with a transparency for the glowing of the moonshine. And then we downloaded some fonts and we added some text. And there you go. Well, this is my WPA poster. Okay, so I'm going to stop.